in it, so that's what this gray health is saying, so damage is a little bit lower.
So yeah, what I was really looking forward to, again, with that anti-air stuff, is I was labbing earlier Donatello's, when he does that, I would just go right into EX head spin attack. That way I can conserve juggle points. So I'll tune in here. This game has a juggle system as well as the boost comboist system that Kamikaze mentioned earlier. What that means is there are 2 points of juggles, and EX moves, or Omega moves as they're called in the game, ignore the juggle count. So that means you can extend combos as long as you have EX meter to burn.
Oh yeah, and there's one of those counter hit combos right there.
So right now, Donatello has the first round. So it's going to be a race kind of to see who figures out how to properly establish neutral. So Wonder Woman has, again, a fly state, but she can cancel out with a punch attack by just doing a punch and going right down, or just pressing kick and getting a special attack, a dive kick. And she can space that to make that fairly safe. That's a good bust out right there. Additionally, there are 2 supers, 3 counting the Omega Super. Super 1 and Super 2 are activated with basically the
Super 1 and Super 2 button.
Pretty much. So just like you had Assist 1, Assist 2 in Marvel 2, you have Super 1 and Super 2.
Oh, that's
and the startup varies depending which one you use. So you can use it as different tools. For example, Leo's Super 2 is an anti-air, while Leo's Super 1 is more of a forward thrust. You saw Wonder Woman have one of her supers be that particular bust-out kick, which is looks like reverse DP kick normally.
Oh yeah, that's a so Wonder Woman's main deal is like Superman. She also has a flight mode, but they're used in a very different setting of utility. She also has that lasso, which is a full screen grab, but it's very slow, so you kind of have no one to blame but yourself if you get hit by it. But as you can see, Donatello here hitting with that Omega Bow Rush. He is very strong at stunning. He's one of the 2 characters in this game who can stun you twice in 1 round. Also, his super is really good. He throws that bow staff, and it takes priority through other projectiles, so it's a really good move to counter zoning.
So right now, don't be whiffing buttons in this game. Just like we talked about earlier with Gundam Wing, this is one of those games where if you whiff, it can spell doom for you very quick, as these characters not only have a lot of ways to confirm from light attacks, heavy attacks, etc., etc., EX meter builds very quick, and also there is stun, so whiffing, if you've been hit a few times, can be quite fatal. SuperTiso takes game 1.
So to elaborate on how EX or Omega moves work in this game, if you score the first hit, you will see that you get this Omega symbol, which indicates that you can use one of your Omega specials. You also get them from not taking any damage for at least 4 in-game seconds. And lastly, if you incur too much damage, your life bar will start to flash. That's telling you that you also have an Omega move available. So you can have up to 3 Omega moves available to you, depending on how a match is going. And those can be used to turn the match around without giving you a free way out.
Once again, those Omega moves do not use the juggle count, so you can extend combos in the air that way that you wouldn't otherwise.
And Donatello just being dominant this time around, getting that stun nice and early. Now, Wonder Woman is sitting on a lot of resources. If she can pull this off, this is big damage coming. Arguably, he might die. This is how fast rounds can be if you have the right amount of resources. So the question is, are they going to pull it out? It looks like they didn't.
So tell me more about Omega Supers. If I recall correctly, there are other conditions to be met to use that in addition to a normal super.
So with Omega Supers, the life bar would typically tell you if you have one. So that's another thing I did to quickly let you know what's going on. But if you happen to have an Omega Factor, as they're called, in full health and full super meter, you'll get an Omega Super. As my way of saying congratulations, you're so dominant that I'm giving you this very damaging super. Alternatively, if you have an Omega Factor and flashing health and a super, that will also give you that as your way to say this is your last resort, make it count.
So one thing I really liked about how you implemented the Omega mechanics, as well as Omega Super mechanics, is that it's a comeback mechanic and an anti-comeback mechanic at the exact same time.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can try to come back with it, but they can be baited, they can be safe jumped. So it's not, there's no perfect way to get out of things in this game. You kind of have to think really hard about your options. And to me, that's a way of saying, even if you're a beginner, it's not gonna be forced upon you. And if you're a veteran, then you already know what you need to do to make things work.
Sounds pretty apt. In the meantime, looks like SuperTiso is sitting on set point. Let's see what he does to retain it. I have seen some pretty good stuff from MelonFizz. A wonderful anti-air right there with that stand heavy punch. Busting out with the EX bow thrust. And there's a big jump. So something else I've noticed, coming off jump-ins can be pretty interesting in this game, just based on the timing of you landing, where you hit them. Like, I've hit a lot of people for early jump-ins in casuals, and most times it doesn't really combo, so I've been trying to use it as a way to set up the universal command grab.
Ah, yes. So everyone in this game has a universal command grab. And for those who may be thinking of another game that does that, I've never heard of Waku Waku 7. The idea behind them is it creates a weapon triangle of sorts where you have attack, defense, and throws. And there's also a priority system in this game. So command grabs will beat regular grabs as well. Every character has their own unique command grab, and some of them juggle and some of them set up and reposition. It's all pretty much things that you sit down and lab against. I've gone out of my way to create the most diverse cast I ever could. Because this is not my first or even second or even fifth game that I've made. This is just the one that I put the most production value into. And that was a very solid set there.
One thing I really like about the effort that you and News Team 6 have put forward for this game is kind of how I got drawn into it and the project. For those who don't know, I mentioned earlier, I'm one of the storyboard editors. Is we have not just amateur talent like myself contributing to it, but we have professional artists. We have Nona, famous for doing the in-game artwork for King of Fighters 2002, SVC Chaos, is one of the lead artists for this game, particularly its endings. We have composers from several walks of SNK. We have famed composers like, for example, the one who did the Turtle Dance did some music for it as well.
Yes, Joshua Morris, for those who are familiar with him, he's a bit of an old head in terms of the original video game music